Welcome back to another episode of Off the Carousel here on the field of 68. And I am thrilled to be joined today by the newest head coach in the Big Ten, Penn State's Mike Rhoades. Mike, always appreciate you being here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
So you got a big smile on your face. You got that S on your chest right now. You're wearing your Penn State zip up. You're from Manahoy City. You're from Pennsylvania. You went to college at Lebanon Valley. All of those places are kind of within 2 hours of State College in central Pennsylvania. This is you coming back home, right? This is you coming back to your roots.
No, without a doubt. My wife grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. She was a year behind me at Lebanon Valley. So, yeah, we've come back after 24 years, 28 years, I should say it that way. And it's been 44 days on the job here, Rob. It's been a lot of fun reconnecting with people I haven't seen in years. All the basketball coaches in the state of Pennsylvania, some I've played against, some I've coached against, but most of the time I recruited a lot of their kids at all different levels. So just, you're exactly right, reconnecting, coming back to my roots, and it's been really, really cool. And it's been a lot of pride and a lot of fun wearing Penn State across my chest, without a doubt.
If I would have told 15-year-old Mike Rhoades that one day he was going to be the head coach at Penn State, is that something you would have believed? Is that something that you thought was in your future in the cards?
Well, hell no. Come on now. Probably not. But I was fortunate to grow up in a family. My mom and dad, like, they let my brother and sister and I be dreamers. Like, they didn't squash dreams, and my parents allowed me to fall in love with basketball. And when I said I wanted to do this or that with basketball, they never said, no, you can't. You're too small. That's never going to happen. Your odds are against you. I was fortunate enough parents to let me dream and let me go after that. So part of me thinks that's the reason why I'm here, because I was goofy enough and crazy enough to say, I'm going to bet on myself, and wherever this crazy basketball leads me to, I'm going to figure it out. And it's led me all the way to State College, Pennsylvania. Pretty nuts.
You were at VCU for, I want to say it was 9 years, right? 3 years as an
11,
assistant. 11,
11 years.
11, yeah, 11 years. The last six as the head coach. And VCU is a program that is a very good basketball program. What was the impetus now to make that change? Was it just the chance to go back to your roots, get back to Pennsylvania? Was it getting into the Big Ten? Like, what was it about Penn State that made it the job that you jumped for?
Well, it's the hardest decision I ever made in my life, was telling those guys that I was going to leave them, without a doubt. The appeal that it was back in my home state, in my wife's home state, at Penn State. You're exactly right, though. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say it. Being in the Power Five right now, the way the college basketball is going, and the selection of the NCAA tournament, all that stuff came into play. To what level is different, but it was really hard to tell my players that I was going to leave VCU, because everybody knows how much I love VCU and what a great place to be a basketball coach. Ryan will kill it there. It's a special place, but I think it was time after 11 years. I didn't know that until this year. I just when Pat Kraft came after me, Rob, and how connected the president here at Penn State and the athletic director is, and what they want to do with Penn State basketball, and me being from this state and the timing, it was very appealing, without a doubt.
So the thing that I think you do best, and I would put Shaka in this same conversation as well, and I think that the reason that it worked at VCU for both of you guys so well is you guys are great at developing culture, at building that camaraderie, at building like the family atmosphere in a program, all the buzzwords, all the cliches that coaches love to throw around. Like from my opinion, looking from the outside, I think that's where you excel. I think VCU is a place that's built for that, right? It is all basketball all the time. It's Richmond. It's just that's what VCU is. Penn State's a little bit of a different beast. Let's call it what it is. It's a football school. They got a big football program. How do you develop that same culture at a place like Penn State that you did at VCU? How do you make that work?
One person at a time. But I did that at I did that at Randolph-Macon College. I did it at Rice.
Hmm.
I did it at VCU and continued what Shock and some great coaches at VCU have done. So um, I don't think it's the sport as saying basketball as much as it's what you make important, what you make um, top of the list every day. For me, building relationships with the players beyond basketball is just something Jody and I did from day one at Randolph Macon. I was 25 years old. She was 24. We were engaged and we didn't have any kids yet, Rob. We said, if we're going to make this is our journey here and this is our adventure, we're going to make this a big family and we're going to have relationships with our players that go beyond basketball, that make it a little bit deeper, so that if we care so much about basketball together, maybe something cool will happen with that. I've never changed that. I've just always, number one, that's just how I do it. Some people are different and still win a lot of games. That's just how I feel is the way I could do it best. I want guys that not just come here and play basketball at Penn State, but want to be a part of something really cool that may be bigger than just basketball. I've always been like that. So even when I went to Rice and probably fought the norm at Rice and the way things have been done for a long time, we flipped it quicker because we got everybody to be all in for each other because of relationships. And you build relationships and you build trust by time and communication. And that's based on what our staff's going to do with our players and the people that we have around our program. So even here, I think I'm here 44 days. People are like, oh, that's how they're doing it. Like, yeah, that's how we're doing it. It's different. So you're right. It's like everybody does it differently. I've always wanted to talk about family. A great example of that is one of my players at Rice got an engineering degree at Rice, and he's now an actor in LA. Right? He's not using his degree at Rice. He's an actor in LA. One of our guys that just graduated last week from Penn State is a great student. He wants to try to be an actor in LA. I hooked those two guys up. And the first thing I said is, hey, we take care of each other. That's how we do it. That's just how we do it. And so now this guy, Ishan, is going out to LA and he's going to meet with Dan Pira, and Dan's going to help him out and see if he, his contacts, whatever. Like, it's beyond basketball. I've always feel that way, but basketball brings us together. So that part, there's certain things we're going to do in our program here at Penn State that people are going to be proud of. We're going to act the right way, and we're going to play really, really hard. People usually like that. That's everywhere I've been. It's been like that. We're going to play really hard. We're going to be aggressive, but we're going to act the right way too, and make people proud.
Every coach in the country says, we're a family. We're going to do things as a family. We're going to look out for each other. But the reason why, when it comes from you, Mike, is something where I fully believe it 100%, and you're invested in, not just because I know you well enough. It's because of your roots. You come from a D3 program. Your first job was as a D3 head coach. And I don't think people realize that if you're going to make it in D3, you have to love this, right? You have to be all about it. It's not the glitz, it's not the glamour. You're riding buses, you're getting like $6 to be able to go eat meals on your road trip. So what did you learn coaching at those ranks that you can kind of bring with you now that allows you to have the success that you do now that you're in the, I mean, you've reached the pinnacle of the sport at this point?
Yeah. Well, number one is 0% entitlement. Like $6 for we only got four, man. We got robbed for meals, but just I would still be coaching at Randolph Macon to this day. That's how much I loved it. I just wanted to see if I can coach at the highest level. Jody and I would have raised our family in Ashland, Virginia, and I would have been a coach there for 40 years. It was awesome. I loved every day going to work there, like I did at Rice and like I did at VCU, and now here. Look, man, I get paid to be a basketball coach. My career is to coach basketball. But what I really very quickly in my career, just number one is like never be too proud to dig ditches. Like
Hmm.
no job, no job beneath you, right? You got to do it all, and if you, as the leader of the group, does it all, and you don't have a sense of entitlement, maybe that reaches our players. I've always had that. Um, the family part, and it's cliche, I guess, but I don't make it cliche. Like, you hear that people say that. I guess Jody and I have always taken the approach that we're going to help our guys even after they leave us and do their own thing in the real world, and I'm really proud of that. And I don't have to put that on a billboard, or I don't have to put that on Twitter. Um, the phone calls we have with former players and even guys that have left our program early, like if you play for me and you work for me and you give me all your time like you do as a college athlete, when I say we're going to be there for you, we're going to be there for you. That's important to me. So I think that's the part where I learned from Division III, because it was just us, and we don't have the biggest budget. You got to drive the white vans. You got to eat those lunches in the brown bag, right? And
Mm-hmm.
your pregame meal was sometimes at McDonald's and Wendy's, and not at the hotel.
For us, it was Subway, because it was the time when they had the you could get 2 foot long subs for $5. So that's where that we were at the Subway. So you got your pregame and your postgame meal at the same
Ours
time.
ours was Jersey Mike's. I made a deal with the woman that owned the Jersey Mike. She hooked us up at Randolph Macon, and but they couldn't be hot subs. They only had to be cold cuts. But our like I don't know. This. Like I just all this stuff when you move up the ladder and you go to different levels is awesome and really cool. And you need that, right? And because you compare yourself to others and all that. But everything we do, it still goes back to the team and the game. There's nothing better in the world than being on a team that's something that's bigger than yourself, and there's nothing more enjoyable than the game, right? Going in the gym and competing and sweating with your teammates and trying to get better, trying to pursue a championship. That's at the forefront of my mind all the time. Like, and we get to do this, we choose to do this, and let's take advantage of it. Let's have great appreciation, but might as well make it bigger than just the game, because we're putting so much time together and so much time into this, Rob. That's just how we do it. And there's so many different ways to win basketball games and to run a program. And I don't judge anybody else's, but I know what I've always done, and what we've always taken from day one is taking the approach that we're going to make this about each other and about a family atmosphere. And family doesn't have to be blood. Family could be people you sweat with and go through a lot of ups and downs with, and build relationships that last a lifetime, which they are. That's been a lot of fun for us.
So the one thing that's really interesting to me about what Penn State can look like moving forward is that I think last year there were 2 teams in the Big Ten that didn't play. I'm doing air quotes here. Big Ten basketball with a 5-man kind of lumbering around maybe for round one. It was Penn State and it was Maryland, and I thought both of them had quite a bit of success. No one in that conference plays the way that you've played the last 6 years with VCU, pressing, getting out, trying to force turnovers, playing that kind of a style. How do you think that will translate to the Big Ten?
Well, number one is we'll see, right? We'll see. But from day one, I said it, and we're going to be bold, different, and aggressive. Bold is, this is how we're gonna play. Let's see what happens. Now you're always tweaking stuff, and you're gonna do, every year there's things you do differently, but we got to be bold with that. The different part is, let's be different than the rest of the league. I think the pockets of success Penn State has had, it's because they've been different. So that's something I wanted to make sure that people knew, that we were going to be different than others. If you're not the biggest and baddest and just have the best players and just bludgeon people, or just big boy people, then you got to be different. So let's talk about being different and being accepting of being different, and then being aggressive. We got to create turnovers. We got to create offense. We're going to play maybe at a quicker pace than other people, so that can give us success. And you saw Maryland and Penn State. They played a different style and they had success. Now they had both teams had a lot of really good players too. But that scheme, why can it not work? That's how I look at it. So we're gonna work on us, but I think our style that we played at VCU when we played bigger teams and Power Five teams, a lot of them had trouble with it, just because we created a lot of different scenarios that teams weren't used to. So we're gonna try to be different, but not be proud of it for sure.
So you got Ace coming with you from VCU. How how important is it to have a guy that, one, is going to run the show for you offensively, I'm assuming, and two, has been with you kind of in that locker room to kind of say, hey, this is what he's all about? Is that, I mean, look, Ace is as much a coach on the floor as for you, for your style, as anybody that you're going to have. What's the value of having him with you?
Oh, I mean, it's huge, without a doubt. Plus, number one is Rob. He's a really good player. He's a really good
That
basketball
always helps,
player.
Mike. That always helps.
I mean, let's face it. Even if he's an extension to me and he wasn't good enough, we would, that'd be a tough decision, right? But it was the other way around. He could be a really good player at this level. You got to keep working and all that stuff, but just his competitive, he's elite at competition. He loves competing, and he's talented, and he's also a throwback point guard where he's going to make his teammates better and play off of his teammates. And I think that's how you build a program in your first year, of having a point guard that's going to really share the ball and get people to do the right thing. So he's definitely an extension of me and our coaching staff, but he also is just he's going to bring out competitiveness in others and confidence in others that you want to say as a coach, you wish you had something to do with that, but that's been Ace's whole life. People that are on Ace's team are better because they play with Ace. So he needs to bring that from day one. But we're super excited to have him, and Nick Kern's coming from VCU as well. Nick is a culture guy. Nick's a good player. We put him in the starting lineup last year, and we took off because of it. And we're really excited to have him as well. But Ace is definitely that guy. He's our lead dog for sure, and he's got to bring all those qualities he's had here to Penn State.
So, not you won't toot your own horn like this. I'll hype you up a little bit for the Penn State fans that are watching this. You were the D3 Player of the Year in 1995. You were a two-time All-American in college, and you won a national championship as a player in college. You're also kind of notorious for being the guy that still jumps into practices. Are we going to be able to do that at the Big Ten level? I mean, look, you're kind of transferring in with your guys. Are you stepping up? Can you practice at the Big Ten level, Mike?
We've been doing so much recruiting and not enough working out right now. I need about 60 days here. I will always jump in and do a couple of things here and there. Mike, I like to say that I'm not retired. I'm not semi-retired, but there's a level there. I'll always jump into it, but the body and the recovery is a whole different ball game than it was 2 years ago. So, but hey, I'm 50 years old. I played pickup yesterday. My kids were here for Mother's Day on campus, and we played a little pickup yesterday. And Dad was undefeated. The boys were upset going back to Virginia for school today, but Dad got a couple wins yesterday.
Yeah, you got to let him know, man. You got to let him know he's still got it. Listen, Mike, I appreciate the time. Congratulations on the new job. And I'm going to be pulling for you at Penn State. Thanks, man.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more True. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1 year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.